Every maid who entered this billionaire's mansion quit within 24 hours. One left crying before breakfast. Another walked out without collecting 3 months' pay. A professional chef abandoned a 6-figure salary after the billionaire's teenage daughter dumped his 5-star dinner into the trash while laughing with her friends. Everyone believed the mansion was cursed, but it wasn't. It was ruled by one spoiled 17-year-old girl. Then one quiet Monday morning, a Filipino woman arrived carrying a worn suitcase and a peaceful smile. 5 minutes later, she looked the billionaire's daughter in the eyes and said the one word nobody had dared say in years. What happened after that transformed an entire family. Before we continue, type 777 and tell us where you're watching from in the comments below. If you enjoy powerful stories about respect and redemption, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. From the outside, the Callaway estate looked like paradise. Sprawling ocean views, glass walls, Italian marble, and luxury cars. But inside, fear ruled every room. Every employee lived by the same rule: never make Chloe angry. One housekeeper folded Chloe's designer dress incorrectly. Chloe snatched it, threw it into the swimming pool, and filmed the weeping woman for social media. That evening, the housekeeper resigned. Billionaire Ethan Callaway had built one of America's largest real estate empires. Boardrooms feared him, but inside his own home, his 17-year-old daughter controlled everything. After losing his wife to cancer 8 years ago, Ethan had made a silent promise: Chloe would never feel pain again. Every tantrum was forgiven. Every mistake was ignored. Standing in his dark office, holding a framed photograph of his late wife, Ethan whispered to the empty room, "I failed us, Sarah. I tried to protect her from pain, but I only raised a stranger." A gentle knock interrupted him. Margaret, who had helped raise Chloe, handed him a dustpan of broken porcelain. She threw it because her latte wasn't hot enough. "Ethan. I still love her, but I don't recognize who she has become." When Margaret handed over her keys, Ethan knew the last anchor holding his home together was gone. 2 days later, Maria Santos arrived. 36 years old, born in a small fishing village in the Philippines. She wore a simple uniform and a tiny silver cross near her heart. Having buried both her parents and worked endless hours to support her family back home, Maria was not intimidated by wealth or tantrums. When Ethan warned her that Chloe was difficult, Maria smiled warmly. Children usually become whatever adults repeatedly allow. Ethan blinked. For the first time in years, he felt a flicker of hope. Upstairs, Maria knocked on Chloe's bedroom door at 11:30 a.m. Handbags hung from lamps, and clothes littered the floor. "Get out," Chloe snapped from beneath silk blankets. Maria didn't move. She simply waited. When Chloe sat up, expecting fear, she found Maria looking back at her with absolute calm. "My name is Maria," she said softly. "You won't last until dinner," Chloe sneered. "I buried the people I love most and survived life with empty pockets," Maria replied gently. "Your attitude won't be the hardest thing I face today." An hour later, Chloe walked into the dining room. "Why is my breakfast cold?" "Because it was served at 9, Maria answered. Chloe laughed sarcastically. "You work for my family." "I work with dignity," Maria said softly. "There is a difference." Furious, Chloe grabbed a crystal glass of orange juice and shattered it across the marble floor. "Clean it." Behind a heavy oak door in the hallway, Ethan stood frozen, watching through the crack. His heart raced. Maria looked at the glass, then directly into Chloe's eyes. "No. You made the mess. You clean it. You think you're going to teach me manners?" Chloe demanded. "No. I'm giving you the opportunity to practice them." Maria set a broom beside Chloe's chair and calmly walked away. In the hallway, Ethan leaned his head against the wall, tears slipping down his face as he realized someone was finally saving his daughter. The next afternoon, Chloe shoved her lunch plate onto the floor. "This food is disgusting." Maria sat across from her quietly. "Are you angry with the food, or with yourself?" Chloe glared at her. "You don't know anything about me. you're right, Maria replied softly. But I know that truly happy people don't spend their lives making others miserable. That night, Chloe couldn't sleep. She sat in front of her vanity, holding a small silver music box her mother had given her years ago. Looking into the mirror, she saw past the designer clothes and makeup. She saw a terrified, lonely girl who had spent years throwing tantrums just to feel noticed. Tears streamed down her face as the music faded. The next morning, the kitchen staff braced for impact as Chloe walked in. But instead of shouting, she stood before the elderly chef she had once humiliated, lowered her head, and said, "I'm sorry. Thank you for every meal you've cooked for us." The chef's eyes filled with tears as he softly accepted. Over the next few weeks, the atmosphere inside the mansion shifted. The shouting stopped. At school, classmates who had long avoided Chloe began sitting with her. One evening, Chloe found Maria sitting in the garden watching the sunset and brought her a cup of tea. "Were you ever afraid of me?" Chloe asked softly. "No," Maria smiled. "I was becoming a terrible person." "No," Maria gently corrected. "You were becoming a child without boundaries." Underneath the anger, I just saw a little girl waiting for someone to care enough to say no. Tears welled in Chloe's eyes as she leaned over and hugged Maria tightly. Months later, Ethan gathered the staff in the grand living room. Turning to Maria, his voice shook. "I spent years believing money could fix everything. You didn't just save this house, Maria. You gave me my daughter back." Ethan opened his arms, and Chloe ran into them, burying her face in her father's chest, a real, emotional hug they hadn't shared in 8 long years. It didn't take elite schools or infinite wealth to save a broken family. It started the morning a courageous woman looked a billionaire's daughter in the eyes and loved her enough to set a boundary. Real love builds boundaries, and sometimes, true strength comes from standing up for what's right. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.